And we're going to get into some of these topics. I'll still be paying attention to these comments. But again, prioritized the ones that are on the SoBet Scoop and the SoBet Scoop on YouTube as well. Any job besides betting? Unfortunately, I currently do. Looking to focus more on this. And it's thanks to folks like you that we can. Also, sign up for the SoBet. Plays go up every single day. I am doing a $1 special to join this month. I don't like to charge much for this action, but I like to have a group that gets involved and rides every single day. It's a community that's locked in on the same stuff every day. And we're beating Vegas. That's the name of the game. So 2024, we're going to track those bets very closely. Love you too, Leo. Again, all right, Browns thoughts. We're going to get into that for a moment. That's all my plays. They go up every single day. There's always the Huskies. People took Texas. Thoughts on Browns? I think they are the third scariest team in the AFC. Flacco's been amazing. It's difficult to say he's going to sustain that level of play just because so well, but I think they come in. I think they host the game. They probably play like maybe the 6th seed Dolphins after the Bills beat them. I would like the Browns in that spot. So I think they win a game, and then they lose to probably the Chiefs or the Bills. But I could see them beating the Chiefs as well. They have a chance against the Ravens. They have a chance against everyone, but I do think it's going to be Bills, Ravens, and the Bills are going to beat the Ravens again and go play the Niners. But we're going to get into the AFC playoff picture pretty shortly. But first topic here, we have our trending up and our trending down as we have every single week. And Real Matt Abrams just asked it. It is the Philadelphia Eagles on the trending down list for the 6th straight week. They are a mainstay on this portion of the show, trending down. Listen, trending isn't even fair. So this is a team that was 10-1, and people are like, but they're not playing great. They're 10-1, but they don't look like a 10-1 team. They're not playing at the level they were playing last year. You know, that's what everyone was saying. They're not playing at the level they were last year. They're not playing at the level that they should be playing, but they'll figure it out. They talked about the 10-1 Eagles like they were the 5-5 Bills. They're like, what's going on in Buffalo? Just not good. So now we have to have some real conversations. I don't like that people go week to week and they're like, well, I don't know what's going on with them. They'll figure it out. No. Let's actually talk about it. It's been 2 months of this level of football and really a full season of underperforming. So here are my thoughts on the Eagles. The reason they're struggling as hard as they are. Defensive Swiss cheese, absolutely. They're a legitimate bottom 3, bottom 5 defense. It's not like a team that struggled a little bit. They're just straight up a bottom 5, bottom 3 defense. Point blank, period. They weren't that. They were that for the first month. They were that for the second month. They were that for the third month. And they're getting worse every single game. I'm sorry. Kyler Murray, I like him, but they just hung 35 on you. Come on. Miller Wright says, I need one money line play. We're going to get to that in a moment. All right, I'll give it to you right now. Sacramento minus 16 because we're a little light in here. There you go. There's your play. Lock in. So that's where we're at with the Eagles on the defensive side of things. But let's talk about the offense. Real quick, JR7 says thoughts on the big ass handle tonight for Tuesday NBA game, Golden State versus Magic. Yo, I've been saying this. I love Tuesdays because you fade the public on Tuesdays. There's not a massive lean sharp side on this so far. We'll see if the money comes in late, but the size of the handle doesn't shock me because Tuesdays in the NBA are the biggest public betting day, trying to get that money back after a bad weekend and getting roughed up in football. So I do think there's a good opportunity in that game if it shifts more, but right now I like the over at 230.5. That's just a game analysis read. It's not enough of a stretch. Or not enough of an imbalance to call it sharp, but I think it might head in that direction. We love it. Dot says we ready to make some money tonight, boys. Absolutely. So, yeah, I like the over in the Golden State Magic game. I also might like the Magic spread here. Boston versus OKC, I like the over in that game. That's a 240 spot. Iceman, appreciate the follow. Kings, how many units? That's a single unit play. We like to spread it around on a few fade the public plays on Tuesday, single units. All right, so that's your Eagles. Offensively, no creativity. Someone said that in here. That is 100% facts. We'll get to the fave NBA plays here in a moment. No creativity offensively. You're not using Hurts as a threat to keep people honest with the run game. You're using him as a necessity when you need to run it in a predictable manner, as opposed to being a pass first, run second, always worry about the run, spy the quarterback type of situation. Uncreative run offense, especially with a dominant offensive line, you have to be better. You have to get your touches into your running backs. And then I don't know if it's a game planning. I don't know if it's the fact that people had an opportunity to adjust to Hurts and the schemes offensively haven't evolved at all, but they're not getting guys open. For the talent they have at the wide receiver slot, how are they not getting people open like that? some drops here, some bad plays. Hurts isn't throwing the ball as accurately as I'd like to see. He's been more stressed under pressure. I think he has. I don't like to say he regressed after one good year and then one bad year. People seem to forget that football is a difficult sport and you go up and down. People have good games and bad games. But he's not playing as well as he did last year, and that's a fact. Would I ever do a ladder challenge for absolute kicks? I don't like to do super long shot stuff. I don't like big parlays. I'll do it for fun with really small bankrolls. I would never do it as a serious challenge because it's just really the odds are stacked against you when you get into that sort of thing. It's really it's a silly thing. I've talked a lot of shit about it. It's fun. I'm not going to deny that it's fun. You want to turn 10 into 10K, but the 10 into 10K is the same as, I got a 6-leg anytime TD parlay. Or first touchdown score parlay, even for numbers like that. So I do it for kicks, but I never do it seriously. I might do it on a month, kick off a year, do a challenge to buy Super Bowl tickets or something like that for fun. Good to see you. Good to see you, Miguel. Hanging in here. We got our live show up on SoBet we're on right now. We're going to talk a couple plays here before we move on to who's trending up after we just talked shit about the Eagles. Again, we have done this every single week of the show. We've had to come in here and talk about the fact that the Eagles are trending down. I don't even know if they're trending down anymore. I think they're just a bad team. I think we need to talk about the Eagles the way we talk about other bad teams. The Chiefs, you got Mahomes. I'm not going to write you off the same way I can write off a team with a decent but not great quarterback like Hurts. I'm never going to write off Mahomes, no matter how many drops his wide receivers have, no matter how much he's losing his shit, no matter how much Travis Kelce looks like late-year Gronks can't move well. But that's not a team I'm scared of. I would go into KC happily. I would bring KC here happily. I'm not worried about them. The Eagles, I want to play the Eagles. But, Bills won't get to do that because the Eagles would have to make the Super Bowl, and we know they ain't doing that again this year. All right, plays that I've discussed so far. We got Sacramento -16. That is on a Fade the Public read. Big day on Tuesday to Fade the Public because there's a huge handle on these games relative to normal NBA days because people are chasing their football losses over the long weekend. And then the other play we've talked about is the over in the Boston OKC game. It's 240, 239.5, I think is what we got it at. If you got the plays up on SoBet, which again, you can get those. You can get those daily if you hop on my SoBet. I couldn't recommend it more. That's all. And then we're going to give out another play shortly. But let's talk about the Browns for a moment. So they've obviously been trending up. They're playing great football. They almost were going to be playing for a shot at the division. But, now they're a 11-5, almost 12-5 team if they can pull it off this weekend. They're on a nice little heater. Flacco's been absolutely dealing. The defense has been dominant all along. The coaching is elite. The fact that they have allowed them to get this far. I'm not even giving coaching credit massively for Flacco's play. I think he's just come in fresh and absolutely balled out. And people have slept on him a little bit. But here is one thing. Bills on the rise, looking forward to take the division from the fraud fans. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. That's exactly what's going on this Sunday night. I would straight bet these dots. I'm always a straight better unless I say otherwise. It's just a more profitable way. Parlays are a way to steal your money. We'll do the occasional two-legger, but they're not like that. And Mr. Frost. Yeah, bro. We're psyched for Sunday. If I can branch off on that for a second, we're psyched for Sunday. Biggest game of the Bills season. I've been saying this. Obviously, anything I say about the Bills, obviously it comes with a little bit of bias, but I watch the Bills intensely, so I actually do know them really well. Sure, I'm optimistic. Sure, I'm biased, but I watch the Bills more closely than any team in the NFL and the AFC East. And I said this when the Bills were 6-5. I said they're still going to play Week 18 for the division. I don't care. Miami was 9-2. Or 9-3, and the Bills were on their bye week. I said they're going to find a way. Look at the Bills' schedule. They're going to take down the Chiefs. They own the Chiefs. They're going to beat the Cowboys. They dominate at home. And they're going to beat the Chargers, and they're going to beat the Patriots. And they did all that. And I said, Miami, once they lost to the Titans, I said, all right, they're not beating both the Cowboys and the Ravens. And sure enough, they got beat down by the Ravens. And here we are playing for Week 18. Said Bills on the Chiefs. It's been 3 straight, brother. So the Bills are primed. I'm not super worried that the Bills offense looked meh this week against a good defense in the Patriots, but it was bad. Why are we talking about the Bills like they've done something that matters? The only thing that matters is this year, Z-Sab. You want to talk about past stuff that just makes you make you look unconfident in what you're doing this year. All that matters is this season. The Bills have been up and down throughout the season. They've been hot lately, and they've done the same thing the entire year. Play great against good teams, play shaky against bad teams. That has been the case KC in the playoffs owns the Bills. 2-0 in an OT crazy win. The first time was when the Bills had no shot against them. The second time they were slight favorites. Home both games went into OT. That's far from owning. In the same way you could say the Bills own the Ravens in the playoffs, and I don't say that, but I do think they're good. Good value on the Bills to win the Super Bowl right now? Absolutely. But I said the Bills are going to do it. They're going to play for their division. They're going to get the home games in the playoff. Nobody scares me in the AFC except for the Ravens, and the Bills have beaten the Ravens 2 times in a row. Bills going to the Super Bowl. Now we look on the NFC side. This wasn't a crazy take, but I was on board a little earlier than everyone else. I said it's going to be the Niners, and it's going to be the Niners. Now they lost to the Ravens. People are a little surprised at that. Purdy from behind, he's not that great. I agree. But what are they going to do? They're going to play like the Lions or the Cowboys, and the Lions are the Cowboys at home both games. They're going to win those. And then they're going to play the Bills in the Super Bowl, and the Bills are going to come out hot to begin the game. They're going to put Purdy on his heels, and he's going to play poorly from behind. And the Bills, especially Rasul Douglas, what a pickup. Dominant on the defensive side. He's going to get his. He's going to keep snagging those picks. Back to what we were saying about the Browns. Browns would embarrass the Bills. Okay. Here is what I'll say about the Browns and Flacco's success. I'm very impressed. I think they're a good team. I think they're the third scariest team in the AFC. However, a big reason, and this was huge, I had like the biggest nuke of the season this year on Browns over 20.5 team total, and it smacked in the first half. The Browns defense dominates teams. Now they've played some weak teams the last few games. The Browns offense has looked amazing. But what's happening is Browns defense has been dominant, and they're causing the offense to be, or the other team's defense to be out there the whole game because it's just 3 and out, turnover, 3 and out, turnover. And then the second half of games, even good defenses, they start to fall apart because they've been out there the whole time. Now, when the Browns face a good offense, like the Bills, when they face a good offense like the Bills, I'm not saying the Bills are going to put up 28 in the first half against them, but they come out scoring, and suddenly it's a very different ball game. It's not, all right, this defense is going to collapse in the second half. So I love the Bills against the Browns. I would prefer them against the Chiefs or the Dolphins or the Texans or the Colts or the Steelers, whoever sneaks in there. But yeah, any NBA props tonight? We for the late shift, we will. NBA props will be up on the late shift. I might get one up early as well if you're on the SoBet. But yeah, we'll have those up. The NBA plays we've talked about so far. We got Kings -16. This is a major fade the public way, and I love this spot. That's our biggest play. And then we also like the Spurs +11.5, and we like the over in the Boston game. These are fade the public plays, which is a big part of our strategy on NBA Tuesdays. People are trying to chase those losses from the weekend. There's a lot of volume on NBA plays on Tuesday. What the heck's happened to Diggs? I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think that Joe Brady took over his OC and Diggs hasn't gone off since then. So I think it's partially on Brady on play calling. I think there's a chance that Diggs isn't 100% healthy or something's going on because he's playing a lot fewer snaps than you'd expect. So I think there might be a small issue with that. He's obviously playing, looks fast. Like, I don't think there's a major health issue. I think there's something going on there. I think it's different looks. And I don't know. Teams are obviously prioritizing and focusing on him, and other guys are getting open more easily, so Allen hasn't had to go to him as much because aside from this last game, their offense has been pretty effective during this time. But I think Diggs will show up in the playoffs. I think he'll show up in Week 18, and I haven't lost faith or confidence in him at all, but I would love to see him get involved. Gabe is a great opportunity right now because Kincaid is such a good target that Gabe gets open more. Now you got Knox in there as well. So part of it is just more targets. Cook is getting a lot of carries and catches. There's just a lot of people getting the ball on the Bills side. Line dropped to 15 for the Sacramento, Matt. If you're saying line dropped to 15 Sacramento, I want to tell the chat, let's get it. Sacramento -15. Get it while it's hot, baby. Get involved. Maybe biased because you love USF football. I love Gabe. I don't think he looks like a number one, but he steps up in the big time. He makes big plays. He's great with the deep ball. And Diggs would have had a big catch last game, but that was on Allen. Allen overthrew him on a really good deep route it would have been a 92-yard touchdown, which would have been sick. That would have been huge. That was a tough one to miss, and that's on Allen. And I think Allen is he's honest with that. He's open about it. So, all right, let's move on to the AFC playoff picture. We flirted with this a little bit, but this is one of our topics here on the SoBet live show. Talk about it. All right, so what we have right now, if you're tuned in on the SoBet Scoop, which you should be, we're gonna even give a generous what it would be if it started today, which is not accounting for the Bills beating Miami and being the 2 seed, and then we're gonna also take the NFC as it stands today. And this is a very interesting one. So let's start with the NFC because we've got some sleepers here. All right. So in the wild card round, obviously San Francisco gets the bye. We got Dallas at home against the Bucs. We know how Dallas has been at home. So I do think they take this game. If that got moved around and the Bucs lined up in a different spot, like the Bucs play the Eagles, which is definitely a possibility, that's an interesting spot. I think the Bucs take a game. I think the Bucs pretty bad week last week, but there's a shot there. Von being an absolute waste of money. I've come to detest Von Miller, to be honest. Was excited about him, hate him now. Bucs could absolutely beat the Eagles if they line up against them. If they play the Cowboys, we're going to give this one to the Cowboys. Then we got Rams against the Lions. I think the Lions probably, I've got to take them slightly, but it is not crazy to take the Rams here. I love the way that offense is moving the ball. I really, really like the way the Rams are playing, and they're a better defense. Now, the Rams, the Lions, the way they're able to run the ball is significantly better than the Rams. So if they get a lead, I really like the Lions in that spot. But if the Rams can come out early and score and gain a lead, force the Lions to pass the ball a little bit more aggressively, allow Stafford to work with both wide receivers, continue to move the ball, I think that's a really good spot for the Rams. So as a dog, I'm going to take the Rams in this spot. I'm going to move them into playing against the Cowboys. Again, this is going to be at Dallas. Then we have the Seahawks and the Eagles. I think the Seahawks suck, to be honest. So I do like the Eagles being them. I know they just lost to them in that Drew Lock game. Seahawks are not good. The Eagles are struggling big time, but they're home. They're going to pull out all the stops. They're probably resting guys in week 18. I do like the Eagles beating the Seahawks in that spot. Happy New Year, Yahoo. Matthew, yep, spot on. Bucs should have beat my Saints, but the turnover margin killed the Bucs. That was an ugly game from the Bucs, but I think they bounce back. They get this spot, and here we go. So now we go to round 2 of the playoffs. We've got the Niners playing the Rams, and we've got the Eagles playing the Cowboys. Now, the Eagles would actually host this one. This is going to be switched around because I know what the projections are, but I'm going to say the Cowboys will be home in this spot. So the Cowboys are going to beat the Eagles again. The Rams and the Niners. The Rams are frisky. I'm giving it to the Niners. They're the best team in football, even now, better than the Ravens. You're not seeing other people's comments on stream. I'm not sure. Shout out to Bryce on the producer end if you can change that around. The other comments I'm reacting to are probably because I'm reacting to TikTok comments, actually, Matthew. So it's probably that more than anything because you're most of the comments on the SoBet stream right now. So it's most likely that. But yeah, I think the Rams are very frisky. We won't really get a preview this week because I don't think the Niners are going to play everyone. I think they might give Purdy a quarter. They'll rent maybe a half. They'll probably rest Trent Williams. They'll probably rest McCaffrey. So, like, if the Rams beat the Niners in this spot, I don't put too much stock in it. Big Dave, play of the day is going to be over in the Boston OKC game, over 239.5. I also really like Sacramento minus 15 right now. So now we have we're going to take the Niners against the Cowboys rematch. I like the Niners again. They beat them 42-10 last time. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. But the Niners at home, I'm not a huge fan of like home away splits and putting too much stock in that, especially because I don't see the Niners as a huge home field advantage team, like from a fan base perspective. But I do like the Niners, so the Niners are going through. But that's the way I see it. I think the Rams have a prayer. I think the Cowboys have a shot. I don't think anyone else is remotely viable Super Bowl option. Whereas in the AFC, there are 5 teams that I think could win it. What's user 56 saying? It looks like one comment, and I'm not seeing the prior comment. Yeah, Niners future is super valid at this point. To make the Super Bowl or to win it, Michigan, Washington. I like Michigan. I don't love Michigan minus 4.5. I have a Michigan future that is plus 800, so I hedged with Washington plus 4.5, hoping that Michigan wins by 1-4. User 567, I do see your comments. I just didn't see what you were referencing. All right, sweaty win for Michigan. I agree with that. I think they're going to be able to gash Washington on the run game. Their defense is legit, so they'll get some rush on Penix, and that will limit his ability to throw the deep ball. I still think guys are going to get open deep in the secondary, but yeah, it's I do like Michigan because of their pass rush and because of their run game. Bama should have won. I think that's pretty valid. They got to feel pretty bad about blowing that game. If they had that last drive, didn't settle for a field goal, were able to get a touchdown, or just didn't get gashed on the last drive of the game, or were able to convert a lot of opportunities where they could have done it. Sad. QB sneak, 4th and goal in OT. I really thought, until Saban confirmed it afterwards, I really thought that was a botched snap, and he said, fuck it, no shot, I'm going in. All right, back to the playoff picture, AFC end. So we say Bills go to Kansas City. Again, I don't really agree with this outlook because I think the Bills beat Miami and host. But let's say Bills go to KFC. They go to KC. They do what they did last time. The KC struggles continue. Allen balls out. Bills take that game in even smoother fashion than they did in the regular season. Miami beats the Colts despite being banged up. I don't really think that team's going to be the Colts. I think that team's going to be the Texans. But we're doing as is. I think Miami advances regardless. Then you got Browns, Jags. I think the Browns beat them easily, honestly. I think they terrorized the Jags defensively. So now you've got the Bills against the it'll be Browns, Ravens, Bills, Miami. In Miami, Bills do what they do to them every single time. Bills have won 10 of the last 11 against the Dolphins. Okay? So then Ravens, Browns. I think the Browns have a shot at beating the Ravens. I like the matchup for them. I like the way their defense plays against Lamar. I like the way their offense matches up in this spot. However, I'm giving it to the Ravens. They're the better team. The Browns have a better shot than you might think in this spot, but I'm still going to hold strong with the Ravens here. Celtics money line. We like Celtics money line, but we prefer the over in that. Ravens don't care, says Pepper Pug. Browns Ravens this year is going to be like Bengals Ravens last year. That finish was crazy. That finish was insane with the fumble on the 1. That was an electric game. I think the Ravens go to the AFC Championship. They host it. Bills come in. They eat their cake. The play today, one more time. Plays are going to be, we've got the Spurs plus 11.5. We got Sacramento minus 15. And we've got the over 239.5 in the Boston OKC game. Those are the plays up. Tuesday's about fading the public in the NBA. Guys trying to recoup their losses from getting banged up in football all weekend long. So we got a lot of volume, a lot of public betting, a lot of square betting. So those are our plays. Those are fading the public and also game analysis reads. So there, this is, I've been saying it for 2 months now. It's Bills Niners. The path is clearer every single week. Since I said it's Bills Niners, the teams are combined 8-2. Something to think about. All right, and then the last thing we might want to talk about, just a quick little something, a PSA, if you will, that we need to talk about. We need to talk about player prop-based incentive-based player prop plays. Beer necessities, absolutely. We're live here on Tuesdays, just FYI. We got a little bit left in this show, but we're live here on Tuesdays on the SoBet Scoop on YouTube, on Twitch. Obviously, I'll be live on my TikTok as well. We're going to be locked in a little bit more frequently, getting some more lives going, hop in the Discord, hop on the SoBet, all that stuff. Get involved, lock in. We're going to the moon. And by the way, Vegas tried to shut me down in August. 47,000 followers, and they cut me dry, shut my account down. I had nothing. Built it back up from the ground. You can't keep me down. I'm like a goddamn whack-a-mole. I pop up everywhere. And now we're going crazy with the views. The word is spreading. We're talking about what Vegas is doing. We're spreading lies to the public. We're fooling silly people for the sake of views. We've become a threat to society, honestly. But I digress. Get involved. Have a good time. We got a brand new year to win bets, have fun, and make people arguing in my comments feel bad about themselves. What more could you ask for? Now let's talk about it. Got to meet the Allen guy, bro. I bet you would get along, and I would not put you two in the same room. For the good of humanity, couldn't do it. All right, player prop base, incentive-based player props. You're going to see a lot of hype about this. If you're in Twitter, sports bettors, you're on TikTok, sports betting, all this stuff. You're going to see a lot of people talking. He only needs five catches to get a $500,000 bonus. He only needs 1 touchdown to get. Listen to me. This is all hype, and it is the trappiest trap. I'm not saying none of these are going to hit, but the value in these spots is going to be juiced, is going to be lost because the odds are going to be juiced up because Vegas knows that's what people are doing. Vegas is pushing these narratives. What are you trying to do every single game? You're trying to get catches. You're trying to get touchdowns. You're trying to get sacks. You're trying to make plays. The plays that you're incentivized to make have been the plays you've been trying to make this whole entire year. Oh, but I just need 5. And I'm not saying there won't once in a blue moon be a situation where the game doesn't mean as much and you're like, yo, get him the ball, get him that touchdown. Yes, if you find something, some opportunity in a meaningless Week 18 game, maybe it's worth. But you think Vegas isn't aware of this? You don't think the lines are adjusted? You don't think the public thinks they found something? The public squares are going to be all over this. They're going to be hammering these overs because they think, well, they need 500,000. Listen, dude's on a $12 million annual contract, making $12 million a year on endorsements. 500K isn't even a big deal, and they're trying to stay healthy. They're trying to prepare for a playoff run. And guess what? Just because you really want a touchdown and you get paid for getting that touchdown, you think you're just going to get a touchdown? Because what's happening on the other side? Dudes are incentivized for tackles. They're incentivized for sacks. And also, they're football players. They're incentivized to win games because that's what they do. So don't get carried away. You're going to see these lists. You're going to see these rumors. And I get it, man. I make content. I understand that it would be great content to say, here's what you don't know. Here's what you don't know. Here's what you need to consider when you make your picks here. That's what people are going to say. And I'm just saying, you better comb through that very carefully. You better look at the lines and say, oh, well, he just needs over 4.5. And then are you going to hammer it at minus 160? Like, be honest. Oh, he needs 4.5 catches. Well, his over under 6.5. So just be real careful. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying none of these will hit. I'm just saying you're not going to get good value. And if you just think, well, I'm just going to line up with everyone hitting their incentives, I'm going to hit. It's not a good strategy. It's not a good approach. And again, Vegas is pushing that information. They want you to think it. Content creators, I get why you're doing it. I'm not saying it's all disrespect because I'll probably make a video about why you shouldn't do it. It's a good thing to hop on and talk about and get views, but it's not a good way to win plays. JR says, yep, info being released before the final week. 100%. Also, like, come on, bro. Things are going to change between now and then. If you lock in right now, Jay Price says, bro got 19K trying to give advice. I would have given the same advice if I had 19 followers. Everyone who has a huge account, they at one point had 19 and maybe their advice was good. They at one point had 19 followers. At one point they had 19K. I like 19K is a good number, by the way, Jay Frosty. And if it were 190K, it wouldn't make the advice more. This is something I talk about when people are given picks regardless. There is no like credibility. People can lie about the record. You can see a ton of followers. You can see whatever. But guess what? Do you agree with the logic? Then tail. Do you not? Then don't. Seems like Jay Frosty doesn't agree with the logic. Feel free. Go against it. But you're trying to come in here. Bro got 19 trying to give advice. There's a reason I'm giving advice. Matthew Frost says, Pete, no need to respond to these files. I usually don't like to, but there's a time when someone gives a comment that is just so weak and also so simple and so incorrect and nonsensical. Sometimes it needs to be addressed. Alex Thibodeau laying down the law in the chat right now. Pure Necessity says 820. He did a little sleuthing. The point is, no matter the amount, the advice is the advice. If it were someone that had 0 followers or someone with 1 million followers, the advice is the advice. And if you don't have the ability to discern the advice and you need to go on credibility, you probably shouldn't be listening to anyone's advice. I've said this from day one. Don't worry about people posting their record and their stats. Don't worry about people's like so-called credibility or whatever their bragging rights are. Do you agree with the logic? Yes, tail the bet. Do you disagree? Fade the bet. Do you not know what it is? Stay away. Hit a crazy parlay. Bama plus 7.5 over 40. Washington minus 2.5 under 68. Damn, Beer, that is a fire lay because you snuck in there on a few of those too. Under 68. Wow. Alabama plus 7.5 exactly. Wow. Hell yeah, Beer. Appreciate it. Matthew Frost, spitting facts. Hey, I appreciate you all in the chat. You guys know what you're talking about. Appreciate you. We're about to wrap up here. Really just, you're going to see a lot of stuff about these player props, about these incentives. Just, take the standard factors into consideration. Look at the line, see if the value is there the way you would have considered it without the incentives considered, and look at the matchups the same way you would. Look at the flow of the game you expect the same way you would. There's not going to be a ton of great action on Week 18 because there's a lot of uncertainties about how much playing time people will be given in meaningless games or games that have very little impact on seeding. And also, if you lock in plays right now, like Some action right now. There will be a lot of line shifts because there's 2 games on Saturday that have a big impact on playoff consideration. And then obviously there's a ton of 1 o'clocks on Sunday as well. As we get deeper into it, it's going to shift teams' motivations and priorities, and they might bench people more, or they might be less likely to bench people because of the way seating's shifting around. Cyclo, appreciate it. That's all I come here on to hear. What we betting on tonight, we got what we got on mind. So last thing before I go, here are the plays. They're up on SoBet Daily, but for all you hanging out, appreciate you. So you get the plays. Let's talk about it. These are fade the public focused plays because Tuesday's huge public betting day. People trying to get it back. We like the over in the Boston OKC game. That's 239.5. We like that over. We like the over in the Warriors game. This wasn't one of them, but we did talk about it here. Magic Warriors. We do like the over in that spot. We like the Spurs plus 11.5. And we like the Sacramento minus 15. Now 241 on DraftKings. I still like it, but I don't love it the same as 239.5 by any means. But I still do like it. Jay Frosty said bad pick. I'm sure he would have said the same if I said the opposite play. Wisconsin minus 5.5 against Iowa. Spurs need 14.5, says he's locked in on the exact score. You might be able to get it 12.5. I would like it as low as 11 in this spot. And it's also, public action. Jay Frost says Syracuse money line's the only play tonight. Well, we don't care how many followers he has or what he's done. We care about the advice. And he's given us no analysis. Matthew Frost says, Jay Frost, you ruined the name. For real, M. Frosty. You got to talk to your boy. All right, gang, we're about to wrap up here. Get involved. I'll put a video out talking about the player prop stuff either tonight or at some point this week. Peter Amp, Spin Facts. Cheers, Alex. Cheers, everyone. Tune in next Tuesday. We'll get back on here on the SoBet Scoop. Every single SoBet Scoop, Twitch and YouTube, every single Tuesday at 6. And we're here live as well. Other times as well. Check out the links. See if there's something for you. Get involved. Hop on the SoBet. All that. Cheers. Love all.